Have you ever had this moment when you're on a date with your ideal woman and you know you have to move the things forward, right? You have to make this move. But then suddenly you feel this tension in your body. You feel a little bit of anxiety. You feel this strong fear, right? And instead of facing that fear, you decide to back down. You decide to listen to your fear, to let your fears control you, right? And this is a subject that I was discussing with my client on Wednesday, I think, or Thursday, during the group session in the academy. And the reason why I was discussing this is because he struggled with that. He's dealing with a lot of tension on a daily basis, and he tends to run away from that tension instead of facing it. And what ends up happening is he keeps on lying to himself because underneath the tension is his true desire, right? He wants to kiss the woman. He wants to put his hand on her thigh. He wants to invite her home, right? And I could go on and on and on about these examples. But because he feels the tension, he's not doing it. And we really found that out on the group session on Thursday or Wednesday, whichever day it was, I don't remember. He was getting a lot of attention on the group session, right? Because he was the first one to join and I started with him, right? I was starting to coach him. And at one point, he started to feel this tension of like, I'm taking too much space in the group session. I'm taking too much the attention. So what he did is he asked a question to one of my other client, right? And I let that happen, right? I was like, okay, I'm gonna let this happen. But after the answer was given by my other client, I stopped the whole session and I said, okay, did you ask the question because you genuinely wanted to ask the question or because you felt you were taking too much space in the group session? And obviously he started to smile and he was like, huh, now that you say that, yeah, I felt I was taking too much space and I just avoided attention by asking this question so that I don't have to receive all the attention. It's in those moments that you lose the confidence. It's in those moments that you lose respect for yourself. It's in those moments that you don't truly love yourself, right? Because if we look at it from a very logical perspective, it's okay to take space on the group session, right? You're here to get my service. Like, of course you should take space. Of course you should get your questions answered, right? Of course you should receive some coaching. Now, of course, there's an aspect of there are other people, so they should also get the coaching, but you're allowed to take the space, right? And he really felt in his body like, oh, I'm taking too much space, blah, blah, but it was not true. We just talked for 5 minutes. It's okay. So it's the same thing with women, right? You might experience tension when you're just about to meet her, right? You might experience tension when you know you should ask her for her number. You could experience tension when you want to ask her for a date, right? You're texting with her and you feel the tension, right? You could feel tension when you're just about to have a date. You could feel tension when you're about to move things forward. You could feel tension when you're about to have sex, right? And that could go on and on and on and on and on, right? So one of the things that I teach in my mentoring is this, and I want to give you a little bit of value here so that you can come out of this video and actually know what to do, so that you don't have to deal with letting this tension that is in your body control your whole life, right? Because do you want to live from a place of fear or do you want to live from a place of love and gratitude and compassion and confidence and masculinity? Your choice, right? So I call it the path of the most resistance. And it's very simple. This path is very simple to understand. It's a different story to apply it in your life. On the paper, it looks very simple to do. Wherever you feel resistance is where you should go towards, right? So if you feel resistance to kiss her, right, when you're on a date with her, then you should penetrate this fear, you should penetrate this resistance, go through it, and try to kiss the woman that you have in front of you, regardless of the outcome, right? Regardless of the outcome. This is the whole point of the practice. You don't do that for any outcome. The only outcome that you have in your mind is, I am here to penetrate the resistance, to go through the resistance. Now, it's not finished here. It is not finished here. And this is the key point. As you penetrate the resistance, as you penetrate the tension, as you go through the tension, as you overcome your fear, you have to relax your body as much as possible, right? So how does it look like? Let's imagine you're walking in the street and suddenly you see a really beautiful woman walking past you, right? You're going to feel this tension in your body. You're going to feel a little bit of anxiety, probably, right? So what you want to do in this very moment is, okay, I'm going to talk to her. Even though I feel scared that she will reject me, I feel scared of the judgment, blah, 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 right? I'm going to go talk to her. And as you're about to go talk to her, you try to relax your entire body, right? And to relax your entire body, there are many techniques. I think in some of my other videos, I give some example, I give some actual techniques that you can use to really relax your nervous system. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go check these other videos if you haven't done it yet. But let me give you one super simple practice. Focus on your breath. Really feel the inhalation and the exhalation. Inhalation, exhalation. This is so basic, right? It feels like, what the fuck, dude? Like, if I just focus on my breath, it's gonna relax me. Try it out. It works every single time, right? So you want to do that. Like when you're just about to meet her, as you walk towards her, you focus on your breath, right? And this will really allow you to become more and more comfortable with the tension that you have in your body, to the point that eventually you will not feel any tension, because you train your body, you train your nervous system to relax when you experience this fear, when you experience this resistance, this tension, right? So that's why I call it the path of the most resistance. It's not something that you do one time and then it's done and then you forget about it. It's something that you continuously do throughout your whole life. As I am speaking to you right now, I still practice this path. I am still in this path of the most resistance. It has changed, right? I'm not meeting women on a daily basis now because I have a girlfriend, right? So I don't have to meet constantly women. I don't do that, right? I have done that in the past. This was the path of the most resistance at some point, but now I don't do it. For me now, it's in different areas in my life, right? But I keep on doing it because this is really what allows me, first of all, to grow, right? Because where you feel resistance is where you have a lot of potential, right? There's a lot of potential in the resistance that you experience, in the tension that you experience. So it's like almost like you pop a bubble, right? There's a bunch of bubble in your life. And whenever you go through the resistance, you pop that bubble. And this bubble is full of love, it's full of confidence, it's full of masculinity, it's full of like beautiful energy, right? And as you go through all this resistance and become comfortable with the tension and all of that, suddenly the bubble is not there anymore because it has been popped, right? I don't know if it's a good analogy to compare it with, but this is really how I look at it, and it has worked tremendously for me. This is literally one of the reasons why I became so successful with women. It's because I was constantly, like literally, you don't have to go this extreme, but for me, I was doing that every single day, right? Every day, I would find ways to challenge me, to feel this tension, to feel this resistance, and I would face it 100%. I would not run away from it, right? So if I go back to the example of my client that was feeling uncomfortable getting all the attention on the group session, for him, the path of the most resistance is to actually receive the attention from me, right? To get coached from me and take more and more space in the group session, right? Because his mind is like, it is not okay to take space. I am not allowed to take space. I don't feel comfortable taking space during this group session. So I should run away from that. I should ask other people to participate, right? And on the surface, it looks really nice. I mean, wow, the dude is here, is making the group session more active, you know, people are interacting with each other and everything. That looks great on the paper, but it comes from a place of fear. It comes from a place of insecurity. That's the problem I have with this. And this is really the essence of becoming more and more authentic with yourself, right? This is really the essence of being yourself. Isn't it interesting? A lot of people say, oh, but if I'm being myself with women, they will not accept me. But are you truly being yourself? Because when you're scared and you let the fear control you, you're not being yourself here. And that's when the whole idea of being yourself becomes very different, right? Because if you would truly be yourself with a woman, it will be a complete different experience. Complete different experience. And if I want this video to give you something, it's a challenge. I want to challenge you to notice in your life, not just with women, in your life, where do you avoid tension? Where do you avoid feeling the resistance? Where do you feel fear and insecurity and you try to avoid it? And you can even make a list of all these things, right? Like, oh, I avoid feeling anxiety when I'm on a date, when I'm about to make a move. Here we go, that's one thing. Oh, I'm avoiding resistance when I want to ask my mom about some money. You know, I mean, I'm giving some weird examples here, but you know, that could be something, you know. You want to ask money to someone because they owe you money and you feel resistance. You feel a little bit like, I shouldn't do that, it's not cool, but like if you feel the resistance, penetrate this resistance, right? So you make the list and then you actually take action on that. And you will see that with time, if you really take this path of the most resistance very seriously, it's going to change your life completely. I mean, the man that is speaking to you right now is a man that went through this path for the past 8 years. It has been 8 years that I'm practicing this path. If I would show you a picture of me 8 years ago, you wouldn't recognize me. I was a very different person. And of course, it's a long period of time. So of course, I'm changing physically. But I'm a different person, like in terms of mindset, everything. Because I allow myself to face this resistance, to face this tension. And this is really the path to become more masculine, right? This is one of the paths. Thank you for watching, my brother. I hope you're enjoying this kind of content. And I see you when I see you.